So the most important product that the CIA writes every day is the PDB, the President's Daily Brief.
And it tells the president what?
What you think he needs to know.
Okay.
So for example, when the Iraqis began moving to the Kuwaiti border, we had this big debate. Are they gonna cross the border? Yes or no? So I said, listen, why don't I call the American Defense Attaché in Baghdad? And I'll just ask him to drive down there and look and tell us what he sees. He drives down there, drives back, he calls me and he says, literally the entire Iraqi military is on its way to the Kuwaiti border. So we wrote a thing for the president saying Iraq is going to invade Kuwait and it's probably going to happen in the next 48 hours.
And when did the president see that particular briefing?
At 7 a.m. the next morning.
Okay. And is there ever situations where the president would get it in the middle of the night?
Yes. Yeah.
And be told in the middle of the night that?
Yes. There are these levels of immediacy. There's routine, which is like, who cares? And then there is priority, which means I'll get to it sometime today. Then there's immediate, which means you should probably read it first. But then there's flash, which means, oh my God, something terrible just happened. You should probably wake the president. And then there's critic, which means they're coming over the embassy walls. We're at war. Wake up the president, scramble the jets.
9/11.
9/11. That's a critic.
So going back to this question of your training.
Yeah.
What is it that the CIA teach you about human nature and how to use human nature to your advantage? That could be transferable to other disciplines in life like business or...
Well, this is going to sound not very nice, but it's real life. It's everyday life, especially in business. The CIA actively seeks to hire people who have what they call sociopathic tendencies, not sociopaths. Sociopaths have no conscience. They'll just blow right through a polygraph exam, but they're impossible to corral. They're impossible to keep under rein. And it's because they're not able, their brains won't allow them to feel regret or remorse. Now, in business, most CEOs are sociopaths. Most, not all, but most, especially in big companies, because they claw their way to the top, usually on the backs of the people around them. They don't feel bad screwing the next guy to get that next promotion. The CIA wants people like that because those are the people who are going to break into a foreign embassy. A normal person would not advocate breaking into a foreign embassy. That's sovereign territory of a foreign country. I would. I'd be glad to do it.
Why?
Because we're the good guys.
So do you have sociopathic tendencies?
Absolutely.
And what are your sociopathic tendencies?
My sociopathic tendency was to operate in legal, moral, and ethical gray areas, specifically. That's what it was.
I'm really curious about what we can learn about human nature from someone whose job was to meet strangers and to get them to basically, sometimes, to turn against their own country. Mm-hmm. I'm really interested in, and I think it's informative because so many of us, when we think about what good leadership is or what good salesman or womanship is, it seems like there's transferables. I guess for some people it's family. I guess for some people it's something else. That hook that you're talking about, that thing that gets them.
And the word that they use at the CIA for the hook is a vulnerability. And it's not really a vulnerability in every case. Now, 95%, studies have been done about this internally at the CIA, 95% of the people who agree to become spies for us do it for the money, right? It's a simple cash transaction. You give me money, I'll give you secrets. 95%.
So you telling me that you think human motivation is 95% driven by money?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. The rest was love and family, ideology, revenge, and excitement. You're going to get a handful of people who are hooked on James Bond movies, and they will do it. I mean, you're going to pay them anyway, but they will do it just for the adrenaline rush.
It's interesting because when I look at this list of things and I compare it to business, I would say it's slightly different from my experience of hiring people, specifically of hiring people. I tend to think that, one would ask themselves, like, why would someone leave a company right now like, I don't know, OpenAI and go work at a startup? They're going to get paid way more at OpenAI. You've got this equity and these grants, but people en masse doing that. And even when I think about the early days of Google, people left the big conglomerates that would pay them more, and they went and worked for Larry and Sergey, getting paid way less.
Right.
But to be involved in something small, scrappy, exciting. And this is what I think about when I sit, probably I've had thousands of people in my life now across my businesses. And money is a factor, but it doesn't tend to be the biggest factor. It tends to be, in my experience, there's a particular hero's journey in their mind that they want to be seen through. They want to complete. There's a particular way that they see themselves and they want to fulfill that.
Oh, I could get that. I work with a very, very tiny startup right now called Ivy Cyber. And it focuses on privacy software, things like, scrambling your data so it can't be intercepted, that sort of thing. And I've participated in a couple of pitches to angel investors, and they all say exactly the same thing that you did.
And this is why I was confused when I heard that money was 95%, because I just think, especially in the work that you do, I would assume.
But look at it this way. I think this would explain the discrepancy. You're comparing people who are making a life versus people who are betraying their country.
True. And what's interesting as well is in those examples that you've given, money is actually a proxy to be able to take care of my family. Mm-hmm. And to be able to, fulfill my ideology and maybe to get excitement and revenge. Do you know what I'm saying? So even
Absolutely,
that guy that wanted the plane ticket so he could fly home, he could have, the money could have got him home if you just given him.
Sure.
But the reason why he wanted to go home was because his family.
His family. That was it.
What's the extent of the things that the CIA can get as an incentive for someone to turn against their nation to give secrets?
Quite literally anything you can imagine.
Even if it's against the law?
Well, they're not going to get drugs or, child prostitutes or, no, not stuff like that.
What if someone said, I want you to get me a green card?
Oh, yeah, sure.
What if they said...
If the information's good enough, not a problem.
What if they said, I've got this tax bill. I want you to make the tax bill go away.
Okay. Give me the plans to that Russian tank. We'll make it happen.
What if it was an American? Would they speak to the IRS here and just get rid of it?
Oh, if it was an American citizen, you mean?
Yeah.
No.
But why?
No. We normally don't recruit American citizens. By law, the CIA can't operate domestically, although they have offices all over the country. Those offices are generally to debrief business leaders, C-suite officers who travel to denied areas. For example, if you take a trip to North Korea, let's say, I'm going to call you and I'm going to say, you don't know me, but I'm from the CIA and I understand you just went to North Korea and I was wondering if I could come over to your office for an hour and just ask you about your trip. 99.99% are going to say yes because they're patriots. So I go to your office, I give you my business card, and we just chat about, your impressions of the place and that kind of thing.